Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the New Hampshire Business Show. My name is Chris Pastrana, and today we're here with Clyde Board from PITTS, LLC. How's it going?
Not bad. How's it going yourself?
Good. Now, PITTS isn't the real name of your company, so I'll let you say the actual name of your company.
No, PITTS was kind of the acronym that we
Yeah.
started with. I got a little bit of I have a lot of automotive background, a little bit of a racing background. So it stands for Phoenix Industrial Tire Truing Services, but that's a little deceiving because industrial, you think of like tractor trailers. Not to say that we won't get into that as far as tires go with that, but it's more, we like the whole, when you have to deal with your wheels and tires. I mean, it's you go to a pit stop, and it comes with a racing background. It's like, yeah, you go in the pits, you get your wheels and tires changed off and running. So I mean, that's kind of where the name came from.
Yeah.
So
Cool. I like that. So let's talk a little bit about what you do, because I know just from our interactions in the past,
Right.
It's something you don't really hear or see anymore. But you had mentioned before that it used to be a thing. So let's talk
Right.
about it.
Right. The business came about because I worked with Subaru for a long period of time. I got a lot of my background is with Subaru and the Subaru product, and with the all-wheel drive system. Typically, when you hit a pothole or a curb, or there's a road hazard you can't avoid, that you may damage a tire, and if you end up having to replace it with the all-wheel drive systems, typically you have to do a set of 4 because of the wear on the existing tire causes damage to the all-wheel drive system. So by shaving a tire or truing a tire, we can bring the tire down to the same tread depth that we took the tire off, so it won't do damage to the system. There's times where we've trued tires too, like say I had a dealership bring me a Hyundai Santa Fe and the alignment was out on it. Well, it was out of warranty and it chopped the inside of the tread of the tires. So you're driving along and you spend all this money on this vehicle. You're driving along and all you can hear is slap, 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 slap each time you have the tire, and you get the steering wheel shaking a little bit. So what we end up doing is we take the vehicle, take the wheel and tire, and we end up shaving just the inside of the tire, for example, in this car, and then rebalance the tires, take it out for a road test. Smooth, noise is gone, and you didn't have to buy a set of tires. The customer's happy, dealership didn't have to spend money. There's definitely different things on that end. And then we started, because of the race background, with tires you can do what's called cambering. So if you have an oval track car that's got to be left-hand turn biased, I can cut up to 3 degrees on the tire, so that way the tire is already worn to match what you're doing on the track, as opposed to, you have to wait for, 3 or 4 laps for it to start really wearing in. You now have a tire that's, already contoured to the angle of the track. So it started off with that, and then we started getting asked about, well, if we're going to be shaving tires because you have a damage to a tire, chances are the wheel's probably damaged. So that's like, after I got asked probably about 3 or 4 times that, I said, you know what, I ought to go get training on straightening wheels.
Yeah.
So it just made sense. So now you get a tire and you have a bent wheel. So then I learned how to straighten wheels, flew out to Ohio and learned how to straighten wheels. So straighten wheels, so we end up replacing a tire, straightening the wheel, shaving the tire down so it goes smooth, and putting it back on the vehicle. But I mean, it's only one of the small things that we do, throughout the day, but that's majority of our business is either shaving a tire or fixing them, fixing wheels, dealerships, customer walk-ins, a lot of 50-50 of both. So
Yeah. Okay, it's pretty cool. Now, when you say fixing a wheel, you're talking about the actual metal part of the whole thing?
yeah, we get a lot of wheels. When you get an alloy wheel, I mean, this can even happen to steel wheels too. Certain manufacturers, the alloy wheel, the more aluminum it has, the easier it is to bend, so that way it doesn't crack. So you hit that pothole that you can't see, that's, it feels like you just ran over a crater, and it folds that wheel in. That's a lot of times it won't hold air. So we go through a different process and whatnot to get the wheel straight. So we have to make sure not only will it hold air, but it's round enough where it's not going to cause a vibration, especially when we put the tire back on. So, I mean, that's where, if the wheel's in, there's sometimes too where you get the outer part of the wheel that's bent and damaged, and that's a little trickier.
Yeah.
Because you have to match up the paint, make sure it's finished, because nobody wants, necessarily to have this wheel that, everything looks great, and then you get around to a part of the wheel and it's like, wow, what happened there? But then again, some customers are okay with the way it looks afterwards if it's not perfect, because the wheel didn't come in perfect. They just wanted to hold air and ride smooth.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Now, you said this used to be something people used to do?
With the tire shaving, people used to do a long time ago with the bias ply tires, because they would never come out and ride smooth. That
Yeah.
people used to, and they still do some of it on motorcycles, because motorcycles they still use bias plies. Some of them do. But yeah, so what they do is put the tire on the shaving machine or trimming machine. It's the same. My machine's one and the same. There are different machines though. To cut off the high and low spots, so that way as you're driving along, that you still get that smooth ride.
Okay.
And so with the radials, it really went away, because radials were so cheap at the time that the labor you would charge in order to shave a tire, you could buy a new tire for not much more money. But now that the wheel sizes have increased, the tire sizes have increased, and the price for the tires have significantly increased, that it's starting to come back. And especially that more people are buying all-wheel drive vehicles,
Yeah.
that there's more of a need for it. Or examples like, I have body shops that I do business with. They get a car that's in a wreck, and they lose a wheel and a tire, and it's an all-wheel drive. Well, the insurance company is only going to pay for the one tire.
Yeah.
They're not going to pay for the other three, because there's nothing wrong with the other three. And there's very few insurance companies that will cover the three remaining tires, especially when they're still usable. So the body shops instead, if they can't get the customer to buy 4 new tires, so you got to figure, what is your deductible on the, collision or whatever it was, $250, $500, $1,000. Then you got to spend another $600 on a new set of tires. Wouldn't it be easier just to buy the one, as part of the insurance claim, and have the one tire shaved? So that's what, a lot of people are starting to do.
Really
It gives them another option to keep their customer happy, especially if they're short on money. I mean, you got to figure, if you're a late 20s, early 30s, small family, dual income, little kids, you might not have that extra $500, $600, $700 depending on your vehicle for a new set.
Yeah.
So why not just buy the one and have it shaved it down and save yourself hundreds of dollars?
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I ran into that pretty recently with a friend of mine who was complaining. She has all-wheel drive vehicle.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I need to get 4 new tires because one of them was just like bald.
Yeah.
And I'm like, good luck with that. This is before we had met, or else I would have been
Right.
like, well, go see if it's a thing you can do.
Right.
So I hear it all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that's with Subarus, Audi Subarus, and they just found out Mercedes, they're about a 2/30 seconds tolerance. So it's not just like you can get a new tire and put it on. You have to get, because every tire is a little bit different from manufacturer to manufacturer. So if you have 3 matching tires, you have to get the 4th one to match, as far as not only the tread, but also the tire. So if you have a Firestone and then all of a sudden you put a Dunlop on there, it's not going to work, even though it says the same size. They're really not the same tire. So and that's where some of that comes into play too. But some of them have really tight tolerances, like BMW is a 4/32, so you can have like a tire that's halfway worn, put a new tire on there, all-wheel drive, and be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And other ones are very tight tolerance, that if you don't, that decision to put that one new tire on will cost you thousands of dollars later in fixing the transmission. Or if you don't have the money, then now you're out with a vehicle trying to figure out, you either trade it, and buy a new one, or you have to come up with the money somehow in order to fix it.
Yeah. That's pretty interesting. Because I know this probably comes up all the time. Because I used to sell cars, but I was never really big on the mechanic side because I'm awful at it. So the type of damage you can do to your vehicle just by not having the right tires is pretty impressive.
Yeah, oh yeah. The all-wheel drive systems are pretty sensitive. You either have to take it to a transmission shop or the dealer. And the dealer, I mean, they specialize in what they do. I'll never, say, never take your car to the dealer, because they are a specialist in that brand. They're not specialists in tires. They're not specialists in wheels, because they're not designed really to do that stuff. So some of the individuals aren't necessarily as educated as others. But yeah, I mean, if that small discrepancy from that one tire, it doesn't seem like a lot, but under, you got to figure in just a mile, how many times has that tire turned in that mile?
Yeah.
And that's where you run into. Tire Rack actually has a great article that talks about the science behind that, and they do the mathematics for you. So you just read along and see, well, if I've traveled a mile, this one tire's rotated this many times versus this tire, and that's what activates the all-wheel drive system, and that's why it burns out. So that's how it's such a small thing, but it's such a huge, it's just like an oil change. You cheap oil in your car versus good oil, well, what's going to happen over the long period of time?
Yeah.
An engine failure, component failure internally in the engine, or something along those lines. Because if you were using, the lower tier oil versus the higher tier oil, well, having an automotive background, I mean, even with that, customers that use synthetic oils, we'd see significantly less leaks as the car aged versus the ones that would just use lower end or conventional oil.
Yeah.
So tires the same way. Tires the same way. So.
Yeah. So sometimes those alternative cheaper options don't help you out.
Right, and that's where that's really what's been fueling the business. Is that way people don't have that and they want to save the money. I mean, I don't know about you, but if someone is if I say, hey, I got a slow leak, and I went in and they're like, oh, sorry, you got a nail in the shoulder of the tire, you're going to need a set of 4 because you're all-wheel drive. How much is it going to be that? Oh, it's going to be $680 installed. Is that with or without an alignment? Oh, that's without. That's another $90. It's just like, how am I supposed to come up with that?
Yeah.
Instead, it's like, can you afford to buy one tire, and can you afford to have it shaved?
Yeah.
That's a little easier to swallow than buying a new set.
Yeah, definitely. So something I totally forgot to ask you in the beginning is, where is your shop located?
We are in Somersworth, New Hampshire.
Okay.
So just a small shop. We're in Barclay Square, which is on the north side of Route 108. Mm-hmm. We're across from Somersworth Nissan and right next to Stratum Tire. So, I mean, we're just a little one-man shop for the time being, although, we've been slowly growing, which is good. Ultimately, long-term wise, is that I want to eventually get into multiple locations.
Yeah.
Because, the more congested an area is, and the more all-wheel drive vehicles are out there, the more of a need there is.
Yeah.
But there is definitely a learning curve, with doing this stuff. It's not like you can, with the tire shaving, you can't go and like say, oh yeah, I'm going to go out and do this, because it's so few and far between. Basically, I'm self-taught. I had to, before we got the shop fully operational, I went to a buddy of mine's shop, took my wheels,
Mm-hmm.
over. He supplied me with junk tires to mount up on his machine, bring back to my shop, shave them. When I was done with that one, go back, swap another tire out, bring it back to my shop, shave it, just to make myself familiar with the machine. Different cuts and whatnot. I was on the phone with the tech support for the machine as well to figure out more and further improve on doing it. So after probably several hundred hours of being on that machine, then I was like, okay, I'm comfortable doing this now for tires to come in, and I haven't stopped since. I mean, I get them all the time.
Yeah.
So.
Like we said, it's very unique. It's something you don't see all that much.
Right.
At least I haven't seen it very much at all. So it's a very useful service for people. Save some money.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So it's pretty good. So this would be a fun question. So someone comes into you and they're like, my stuff's messed up. Like, what does the process kind of look like for someone dropping off their vehicle and kind of going from there?
Well, depending on what their needs are, if they're saying, hey, I have a vibration,
Mm-hmm.
and then we got to figure out where the vibration's coming from.
Yeah.
So you start asking questions. Is it while you're driving along? Is it braking? Is it higher speed? Is it lower speed? Is it, did it happen recently after repair? Did you rotate your tires and all of a sudden start happening? You kind of have to ask open-ended questions and then let the customer talk, and then you kind of figure out what their need is. I get vibrations all the time, not to say that, shaving a tire is ultimately the fix for the vibration, because sometimes you just have a bad tire. I just recently had a tire that I shaved, made sure it was true across the tread, and I end up, every time I rotated that tire, it wanted an excessive amount of weight on the wheel for that. So ultimately I knew it was a bad tire, causing the vibration. So you can't, I can make the tire smooth across, that doesn't necessarily mean that the weight of the tire is not going to cause a vibration. And other times, I've had, oh yeah, this is what it needs, and shave the tire, and they're like, oh my god, the noise is gone, the vibration's no longer there, everything is, everything's riding smooth again. Because ultimately, that's what you want. Yeah. Anyone who pays for a vehicle because it's your second biggest purchase, wants to have a smooth riding vehicle.
Yeah.
And ultimately, that's the goal, the end goal.
Yeah.
Is for that way that the wheel and tire run smooth. If it doesn't run smooth after that, it's either something wrong with the tire or something wrong with the vehicle.
Yeah.
So.
I like that. It's pretty funny. How long does it typically take to shave a tire down? I mean, there's probably a lot of variables to that. But
Yeah, I mean, it's tread design, tread compound. On average, I mean, it's 45 minutes to an hour. Some of them are faster. Like if I love doing factory WRX tires. They are so soft that I don't even necessarily have to turn the machine on. I can just put the blade up to it, and I can turn the tire and the wheel by hand, and I'll actually start shaving the tire. Where other ones, the higher mileage tire, the harder the tread compound, so it takes a little longer. So the softer tread compound, quicker it is, half hour, 45 minutes. The harder the tread compound with the higher mileage tire, it's an hour, hour and 15. So
it's pretty cool. So you already mentioned looking to grow your business and kind of probably go to multiple locations and everything like that. Do you want it to be like a big company, multiple states, or you kind of just New Hampshire, New England?
New Hampshire, New England, somewhere around there. Nothing too far. I mean, having been with Subaru for so many years, the demand for all-wheel drive is high.
Yeah.
There's more Subarus sold in New England than there are in the rest of the country. Close behind it, or even sometimes even or slightly above, is Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere else is, it's New England's like the Subaru capital of, as far as buying goes, of the United States. So the need for that, continues to grow. So I mean, I don't necessarily need to venture out too far in New Hampshire because, I mean, my closest competition is actually Tire Rack. Tire Rack has about a 3-day turnaround time for that service. So you can order a tire, you can have it shaved, and they ship it to you. But it's 3 days turnaround, so that means the customer's out of the vehicle or on that donut for 3 days.
Yeah.
Where me, it's like if I'm local, then you just bring the wheel and tire in, bring the vehicle in, usually have it done by the end of the day. So if my day starts and I have more stuff that comes in, it's not unusual for me to be there for 12 hours until the day's work's done and get people back on the road.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so different areas around New Hampshire and New England is the goal, so that way people have more reasonable access to it than waiting 3 days for their shaved tire to come in so they don't damage their car.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about that process. It'd be kind of crazy because how would they even know what to shave the tire down to? I mean, that just seems kind of weird unless you're looking at the vehicle.
Yeah, I mean, a customer won't.
Me.
A customer wouldn't. I mean, unless they have some automotive background. But what I end up doing is I take tread depth measurements of the existing tires, and I try not to shave them down more because each time you shave a tire, you're lessening its life.
Yeah.
So I think it was Monday. I had a Mercedes come in with a bent wheel and a blown tire, and he'd gotten the tire. So I straightened the wheel and then I shaved the tire, and the rear tires were about 30, maybe about 30% worn, and the front tires were about 20. So I take the highest level I can go, and that's what I shave it to. So in this case, the highest level I could go was 8/30 seconds. The tire comes new at 10, so I was only taking 2/30 seconds off. If I were to match them, I'd end up shaving off the 2/30 seconds, which then you lose that much more mileage. So we kind of try to shave off the minimum that we can, but still within tolerance. So that way the customer's still getting the maximum amount of life out of that one tire.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty good. Yeah. 'Cause I remember that I had a conversation with my mother about this a little while back, and she's like, why would someone shave their tires? Like, the concept just evaded her. And I'm like, it's not my business. I'm not super good at explaining this, but I have a better understanding of that now, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I mean, some of the groups that I belong to on Facebook, sometimes I'll put it out there and just see what happens. And there's a group called Mass Tuning, and there's probably about 70,000 people on that Facebook group. Amazing. So then you have this debate with people that, one guy with a BMW is like, why would you waste the money to shave a tire? I would just buy 4 new tires. And then someone else was like, hey, I don't have $1,000 to spend on 4 new tires on my BMW. Yeah. Maybe I'm, just a lower income or middle income, individual. And, when you have a surprise like that, I don't have the money to. So to me, the tire shaving option would be, optimal.
Yeah.
Instead of buying a whole new set. So you have both schools of thought.
Yeah.
If you have the money, maybe it does make more sense than to shave a tire. But shaving a tire is not necessarily making it any unsafe than a new tire.
Yeah.
Because in essence, I'm taking still a new tire which hasn't been disturbed, and just taking some of the tread off. I'm not digging into the tire. I have a high-speed blade that I shave off my machine. I can basically shave off a 64th of an inch each pass. And I've learned through the hours I've spent before we opened, if you go a little too deep, then you're gonna start, the tire won't be smooth anymore. Then you got to do more work, and then you could potentially, you can't put it back on once you take it off.
Can't reshape.
It's just like a haircut.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, because the thing with that too, I'm like, it's one of those things. If you make a mistake, you got to own that mistake.
Oh yeah.
You could do some damage.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You take a bite that's too deep or whatnot. So, I mean, you really gotta pay attention. It really is, measuring in precision, because I have gauges on the wheels of the machine.
Yeah.
And you got to make sure you're doing a little bit at a time, making sure the angles are right, making sure, and constantly measuring. It's it's the whole thing. Measure twice, cut once.
Yeah.
To make sure everything's going to come out the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
So.
That's pretty funny. So people that want to learn a little more about your service,
Yep.
where they'd reach out and find you?
You can find us on Facebook. So if you just type in Phoenix Industrial Tire Treating Services, or sometimes if you just put in Phoenix Summersworth, even if you do a search for Phoenix and Summersworth, it will come up. We're the first ones to come up on it. The website is nhtiretours.com, and then it kind of goes in. There's a picture of the machine, right on there with a wheel and tire head, and it kind of goes down a little bit more about us, the additional services we offer, just because we want, just like anything else on the internet, you want those keywords.
Yeah.
Truing tires, shaving tires, wheel repair. You want all those on there, so that's where it's kind of, the website doesn't necessarily match the business name, but it's what we do. We true tires. We shave, we shave them, true them, camber them, straighten wheels. Kind of that niche market in that niche market. So.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Awesome. So thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a lot of fun.
Definitely.
Awesome. Everyone, thank you so much for watching, and be good, and I hope you're having a good new year.